Today I'm going to be tearing into this EVO VIII transmission. It's my friend's transmission, and apparently he didn't have third or fourth gear, or it was grinding, whatever. Someone's been in it before from what he said. You can tell by that. I'm going to start by removing the 4 bolts holding this shifter selector down into the transmission. So it does make it easier if these two bolts are removed. All right, here's the other 4. So all of those 4 bolts supporting that are the same length. This one's gonna be a 14 millimeter. And I'm probably gonna have to fight sealant. Yep. All right, so I broke it loose, tapped it out of place. And voila, there's that bearing right there. Boom, set that aside, bag it. So far, I got these 3, what would you call these? I don't know. The detent balls for the shift rails. Okay, so I flipped the transmission to access this cover plate. If you flip it, you're gonna leak fluid, obviously. Put some rags there. And this is a T47 Torx. Long. There it is. And these are going to be 10 millimeters. All right, so I broke the sealant. Boom. There's the inspection plate. This is the reverse idler gear in there. All right, so I had to flip it back down like that. Make sure the center diff shaft isn't touching there. So it would have to flip it so I could get this out. This is the bolt that supports it right here. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and remove this bell housing here. And that should be about it. I mean, there's nothing to this really. My DSM transmission wasn't that easy. All right, so I went ahead and just put some wood down so I could set this like that and get to these bolts easier all the way around. There are 2 that are inside the bell housing. They're 14 millimeter. All right, so here's all the bolts around removed. There's 14 total on the outside and 2 on the inside the bell housing, so 16 total. Just 2 are on the inside. All right, now I gotta break the sealant bead here. I'm gonna flip it and do that so I can remove this bell housing. All right, so I broke the bead of sealant they had here. See, it's all loose. See if I can lift this with one hand. Nope, I can't. All right, I had to set the camera down, but that's what it looks like. This is the bell housing side. Center diff. Oh, what's that? See that? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. That doesn't look... wait. Might be the magnet. It's definitely magnetic, so it's a magnet. Piece of magnet right here. So here's the input shaft, output shaft, and the center diff. This should just lift right up. Yep. Just like that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and lift this input and output shaft and see what's up. All right, here's the input and output shaft removed. So that safety wire was to keep the roll pins, I guess, from sliding out. For a second, I thought they didn't use a roll pin and just shoved it through. But this will slide out like that. I probably should put my camera down and use 2 hands. I spoke to my friend and he said the issue was 3rd and 4th would not go into gear. And I told him it probably chewed up this magnet here because it sticks to everything. I didn't see any cracked teeth yet, but his plan is to get these gears out and get them all treated, everything. new bearings again, blah, blah, blah. So I guess I'm the fourth person touching this transmission. And this transmission is much easier to disassemble than a 2G DSM transmission, that's for sure. All right, so here's the bell housing, shining it with a light. I don't know how well you can see that, but looks a little beat up there. And if I come over here, you can see how something got caught there. And I'm gonna guess it was the magnet. I don't know if you can see that tooth right there. That one looks a little rough. I'm sure if I keep looking hard, I'll, ooh, right there's some metal. Ooh. Right there's some magnet or metal. So this thing's been sitting for a while. I think it's best if I press these all out and check everything. Either way, it's gonna have to be pressed out to get cleaned. Here's the chunk that I found. It's all chewed up. And my friend said that when he drained the transmission oil, he found chunks of metal just falling down with the fluid. So there was something in there that didn't belong in there. Or it did. But unfortunately, it got chewed up. I was looking online, and it appears that this is a common thing for the EVOs, the safety wiring on the forks. So I stood up the output shaft and this bearing came off, just came apart. I didn't even slam it, nothing. It just, when I lifted this up, the cage came out. So I cleaned off the magnet that was stuck to the ring gear here. Okay. Definitely a magnet. And if I flip it, I can see sealant, or RTV, whatever. It seems like it's the same sealant as the one I removed from around the bell housing here. Same color. So I think they had this glued or sealed somewhere. I don't know exactly where though. And the sealant didn't hold up. And it just got chewed up. Drilled out all the rivets that were holding this plate. Some of the metal shaving could be from when I was drilling the rivets. All right, so I went ahead and pressed everything out of the input and output shaft. As you can see here. And I can clean everything, inspect it better. Third and fourth gear have some chips in there. This is what the output shaft looks like without the gears. I stick my finger in here. Look at that. Black. It's nasty. So all this stuff needs cleaned up, looked over. You know, he wants to put carbon synchronizers. So yeah, that's it. That's the disassembly of a EVO transmission. Well, not super easy, but much easier than a W5M33. I gave him the transmission case back so he could clean it, polish it, whatever. And I'll take care of all these gears, clean them up, go through them.